Hello YouTube, it's Accurate. Now today let's talk about this one. Minibrute 2S from Arturia.
Accurate beats.
So it seems like Arturia has gone completely crazy and dropped two new synthesizers in the Brute series. This is the Minibrute 2S and there's also a regular Minibrute 2 with keys and stuff. I have the Microbrute right here and now let's get it connected in the setup, have a look at it and see if I can make some music with it. So a quick little overview here. This is an analog synthesizer, monophonic, with two different oscillators. One is over here, one is over here. You have two different LFOs, 1 and 2. A nice filter section based on a Steiner-Parker filter, an amp control, an ADSR envelope that's routed to one of the knobs over here. Let's talk more about that and this one. But we also have an AD envelope controlling the volume of the voices and, of course, the patch bay. And one of the things that got me more interested in this one than the normal Minibrute 2 is actually the lack of traditional keys. Instead, the 2S gives you 16 pads that are pretty much playable as keys chromatically or in different scales, but it also comes with these really cool knobs connected to the pads. It also has an arpeggiator over here, but what I find the most interesting is the step sequencing over here. The step sequencer lets you control 4 different, what Arturia calls tracks. One for the pitch, one for the gate, one for velo, and one for press. And these two, velo and press, mod 1 and 2, are actually routable or changeable through the matrix over here. On the unit itself, you have immediate access to 16 different steps in the sequencer, but you can also add to make it 32, 48 or 64. Plus you can change patterns together and pretty much build a song that way. Now let's check out how it sounds and how it works. Let's start with the different waveforms of the first oscillator. We also have oscillator 2, of course, changeable between square wave, sawtooth, and sine. If I'm using the oscillator mixer, I can mix different waveforms. And on the secondary oscillator, the tune is pretty cool, which also has different settings like this. The Minibrute 2S also comes with this cookbook from Arturia, basically pictures of different patches that you can pretty much just follow the recipe and you have a preset. So that's pretty cool. Now this synthesizer is actually really powerful in itself. If you're using the patch bay over here, you pretty much have endless possibilities of what you can route to another thing and how you can reroute something over here. Let's try to take a couple of waveforms and see if I can affect it somehow with the different modulators. Now let's say that I like that sound a lot and I want to sequence it. I'm just going to go to my pitch mode, hit my little record button, and then for the pads that I hit now, the audio is going to play. And it's all set to, let's see, C3. So the way I sequence my melody here is that I change the knob corresponding to the pad. So that's C3, this might be D3, this might be now let's say that I want to go to my velo instead, velo/mod 1, and I want to program that one and I want this to change, say, the cutoff of the filter. That's that, but if I change this one to the lowest value, 1, Now that maybe doesn't sound like much, but when you think about it, adding this technique to the note sequencing and all the things that are patched from the beginning, this has some real cool potential. Let's redo this. Let's erase the whole pattern. Let's just work with the velocity and nothing else. Set this one to 110, this one to 57, and pretty much random numbers like this. Some high, some low, some in between, I guess. And then let's then go to pitch and add notes to all of the steps right here. So this should be the same note over the whole sequence, C3, but it's gonna sound pretty cool. And now let's just change the pitch values as well. And that's just one patch cable and one point that I can connect. So just imagine. Let's erase that little sequence. And let's turn everything down here. And let's make another one. By default, the ADSR envelope controls the FM modulation of the filter. Now, it's not all about step sequencing with this one either. I can hit Shift and turn my metronome on. And things act pretty much as a normal sequencer. I can hold down the record button and hit start. Then I'm recording in real-time mode. And this works just as any other keyboard. I can hit Shift and go to my minor scale. And I can't make any musical mistakes like that. So let's try to record something. Just save that pattern. Now open up the next pattern and do pretty much the same thing there. And then let's just chain pattern 1 and 2 together. I don't know, but that's something, right? Now I also want to mention that the Minibrute 2S and the Drumbrute, they are very, very similar when it comes to the aesthetic design. Let's try to make some drums over here and sync it up with this one. And sync it up with MIDI, press play, and press play over here. Turn up the swing on this one and on this one. And let's see. This isn't the complete track or anything, it's just one drum machine and one piece of Minibrute 2S. And for this sound, I'm not using any of the LFOs, I'm not using anything on the patch bay with the cables and nothing like that. It's just the way it works and the way the sequencer works with itself. Pretty cool, if you ask me. And right there I had to cut myself off because I can sit for hours just finding new ways to route stuff and new ways to add layers on top of sounds that are already cool from the beginning, and time flies. The more I explore and find inside of the Minibrute 2S, the more excited I get about using it. To be honest, it takes a while to get to know a machine like this. It's an analog synthesizer. You can't like store any patches or load up any presets or anything like that. You just need to learn it at heart. I'm really looking forward to spending more time with this one, making more music with it, maybe together with the Drumbrute, maybe inside of my normal setup with Maschine and stuff. combining samples and drum sounds and boom bap hip hop the way I normally do it with sounds from the Minibrute 2S. That's just gonna be awesome. I'm gonna rearrange my home studio a little bit so I can fit this one in a nice place and maybe connect it to something like the Keystep. I think would be a really cool idea, even though I really like the whole layout with the pads and everything. So please stick around on this channel for more videos like this one, more music with the Minibrute 2S, all of my normal videos on beat making and stuff like that, with samples and without samples, and with synthesizers and without synthesizers, with drum machines and whatever. This one was a really cool one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you guys in the next one. Bye now.
Accurate beats.